That's two things I got right tonight, in case you're keeping score at home.
Okay, Joe, did you want to share your screen in the presentation?
Let's do it. Okay, green light. We ready?
We're ready.
All right. So I want to thank everyone for joining tonight's annual State of the Chapter for the Northeast Ohio um, chapter of Project Management Institute. For those who don't know me, my name is Steve Peterson, and I serve on the chapter governance board. So I want to welcome everyone, first of all, and the purpose for tonight's meeting is to share with our members, with everyone on the call, the state of our chapter and our plans for 2025. 2024 was a very successful year for the chapter. We executed several initiatives that you will hear about tonight, and we have some new initiatives planned for 2025. So again, I want to thank everyone for being here and with us tonight. Oh, next slide. So here's our agenda. I'll walk through some announcements and then we're gonna talk about the 2024 highlights. The ops board is gonna talk about that, and then Laura on our gov board is gonna give a financial review, and then the rest of us on the governance board are gonna talk about our 2025 strategy and our initiatives for this year. And then we'll wrap up and review our PDUs, the claim numbers. You have to stick on to the end to get that number, though. Okay, next. So we are using Zoom for this meeting. Please silence your microphones on your computer or your phone while we go through the presentation. If you do wish to raise a question and share an experience, you can use the Zoom chat feature, and someone from our team will monitor those questions and ask them on your behalf. Okay, next slide. So I'm going to turn this over to Dominic on our operations board to talk about our chapter sponsors. Dominic?
Hello. We do have chapter sponsors, and they come in a couple different categories. So, what we usually consider a chapter sponsor are some organizations and companies that sponsor us sort of on a year-round basis or annually, right? We have an annual agreement with them, and we do work with sponsors who want to use the chapter to promote their goods and services. And what that means is they often want to be in front of our members and in some occasions talk, meet, and get to know our members. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind as, when we get into sponsorships and stuff that, when we do have vendors and we do have sponsors at some events, is they're nice people to talk to. They're interested in helping, and maybe you have an opportunity to use their services. Another category, Joe, if you want to go ahead and another category who prefer more targeted sponsorship are our event sponsors and our event hosts. Yeah. And currently we have several event sponsors that are targeting specific events. Lincoln Electric did a military outreach for us event. We're going to head back there later this year. BW has been a venue for us for a number of years. CODIS hosts our executive outreach programs. A targeted kind of thing, Strategic Systems is sponsoring our awards reception. So I think we'll talk about awards here in a little bit, but we're going to hand out some awards this year. We're going to do it at a reception in Independence. I hope you can all be there. We'll have a chance to briefly honor the honorees and have a nice networking event as part of that. But I know Brian's going to be there, and an opportunity for that sponsor, that vendor, to talk to some of our members. And then Parker is hosting a big event for us in March, which is the Project Managing the Air Show, which ought to be awesome. and there's only so many seats in their auditorium. But if you have a company or work for a company that has a venue, we are vagabonds. The chapter does not have a facility where we host events. So when we do live events, we either book a venue or we rely on the generosity of our neighboring community to host us. It's the case with Lincoln Electric and Parker that they just open their doors and listen. In some cases, they also provide the networking, the food and beverage for the networking ahead of the meeting, which is always appreciated and a great part of our meetings. If all you have is the venue, that's fine too. You'd be a chapter host, but please let me know if you do have access to an auditorium or a large meeting room that would use for some of our in-person programs. And the other category we have are our preferred partners and featured providers. In these cases, these are vendors that offer a service of to project managers. Some of them are like boot camps or training for different exams, or they offer some kind of specific training. With our preferred partners, oftentimes our members will get a discount, and then sometimes a portion of that registration comes back to the chapter. With our featured providers, those are benefits you get just by being a member of the chapter. There are some discounts available for some continuing ed classes at BW, Project Bites, and just by being a member, you have access to projectmanagement.com, which if you've not been to, has a lot of topics and they get pretty niche into different industries. So if there's an industry you're in that doesn't get a lot of coverage, I'm pretty sure project management has that niche, that industry covered and talked about, and some information there that's always very helpful. Any questions or anything I didn't cover with sponsors or preferred partners? Anybody? You guys are too kind. Back to you, Steve.
Okay. All right. So during tonight's meeting, we're going to have a few interactive sessions here. So if you wouldn't mind, if you have access to a web browser, either on your computer or your phone, go to www.menti.com and enter the code 4103-8578. And then we will have a couple of questions for you to be involved in our discussion. So I'll leave that up there for a second so everybody could jot that number down and get in. All right, Joe, if you wouldn't mind, next slide. Okay, so our first question, again, go to menti.com and enter that code you see. What city are you calling from? We'll give it a few minutes here. While everybody types their responses in, let's see what we got here. Okay. We got a lot of people from Hudson, Stowe, pretty much represented all over the Northeast Ohio area, all the way down to Canton. We got some folks over here on the east side in Menor and Concord, west side, Avon.
It looks like there's a couple of options in our Zoom chat as well. Canfield near Youngstown and Berea.
Yeah. Very good showing. We're glad that that we have such a wide, diverse group of people here from all over the area. Okay, Joe, if you wouldn't mind, next slide. Okay, so here is a breakdown of our Org structure. At the top, our governance board is we have a president, secretary, treasurer, and 2 directors at large. And then beneath the governance board, we have our operations board. We have an appointed board, and then we have for operations, and then we have an operations board for outreach, and then we have an additional board for member services, and each of these boards covers a wide variety of areas within the chapter that are used to manage and oversee and govern the chapter. And then we have a set of vice presidents and directors that manage and lead different initiatives within the chapter. Okay.
Yep,
So
and we wanted to highlight, that these are sort of potential areas if anyone is interested in volunteering with us. There are many different types of functions that it takes to actually keep our chapter running and operating. So if there's anything that is appealing to everyone or is something that you're more or less interested in, feel free to reach out to any of us. And we'll definitely, help you get accommodated and find an area to volunteer if that's something you're interested in that aligns with your preferences.
and volunteering is a great resume builder too, for those of you who are maybe new to the project management field. It's a great way to get some additional skills on top of your current role. So next slide, Joe. Okay, Ramya, do you want to present everyone?
Yeah. So, hi everyone. For those that I haven't been introduced to, I'm Ramya Ramadrai. I am the chapter president. And, as of our most recent election, which was held in September of 2024, we now have a fully sort of reinstated governance board. My role is as president of the board, of the governance board. Steve is our secretary. Laura continues as treasurer. Beruz continues as one of our directors at large, and Andy and I were the ones that were re-elected in this most recent election cycle. This is the elected board, and then the board continues to appoint leaders in that operations area, which we call the ops board, with Joe leading our member services arm, Dominic for outreach, and Ben for operations. And you saw kind of what the functions of each of these different areas fall under. In sort of aligned with each of these operations organizations, we also have other sort of leaders, like we have a VP of marketing, we have a VP of programs and directors, we have director of volunteering, and we have a director of admin. So each of these come with sort of responsibilities and potentially a subcommittee and team members that help make essentially all of our programming and our events and our chapter administration easy. I will put my LinkedIn in the chat as well. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn or any of the governance board members, and you'll see why it becomes important to form these connections as we talk about our initiatives going through. And if you see us at any other events, feel free to come have a quick chat and we can continue having those connections and networks growing throughout the Northeast Ohio area.
Okay, our next survey question is, what industry do you work in? We've got we've got folks from all kinds of different backgrounds, government, insurance, healthcare, manufacturing. It's not surprising that healthcare and insurance are labeled fairly large. The greater Cleveland area is very heavily concentrated in the healthcare industry and manufacturing and insurance and finance. Got some biotech folks out there. Portfolio management, very nice. Very wide array of different professionals and different areas of different industries. Oh, good. All right, we can move on. Okay, so we're going to do a recap of 2024. Oh, next slide. We're going to talk the operations board. We're going to hear from the operations board here. So let's go ahead and move to okay. Operations team.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, so welcome everyone. Just want to kind of go over some highlights for 2024. What we actually do as the operation teams, we work along with finance team to like manage the back end things that keep the chapter running. So if you're interested in doing anything of that nature, feel free to reach out to me or to go through our volunteering center, and we'll definitely get back to you. Just a couple of things that we worked on in 2024. We were able to put together and approve the budget. So that was a huge accomplishment there. Takes a little bit of time to do that, especially with a lot of the things that we have coming up this year. From a volunteering perspective, we've just done quite a few things to energetically execute and kind of change the process to get resumes over to our board, ops board, as well as the gov board. And we continue to look for great volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering with us, please feel free to reach out to us again. And then there's a couple other things that we did in the administrative. The biggest thing is just successfully executed another election. So that's a huge undertaking for our team as well. One of the things we plan to do this year is to work with the team to update and review the bylaws if needed. So thanks for your time. Thanks you for my time.
So Ben, the other thing I think we should highlight is that we have been talking about training, particularly around cybersecurity, especially for people who are volunteering with the chapter. So it's just so, when we talk about operations, these are kind of some of the things that we tend to highlight in how we keep our chapter data safe and secure and make sure that anyone who is part of our volunteering pool understands sort of the importance of staying compliant.
Excellent. Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it, Ramya.
Okay, member services.
Hello, everyone. So we have like three sections in member services. Oftentimes professional development and programs are commingled, but on the professional development side, BW is our professional development partner, along with, as you saw in the earlier slide, VelociTeach, IIL. We just started a new relationship with IIL September of last year. So they're going to offer us discounts on certification training. They're going to offer webinars. We did purchase a set of webinars. Our next one is on March 11th. And they are free to members and just a nominal fee for non-members. So hopefully you can take advantage of that. From a marketing perspective, we have our website team's been very busy, doing a great job. They went through the whole chapter website to refresh content, refresh graphics, refresh pages, restructured the menus to make it a little a lot more functional and accessible. So great job to that team. Elizabeth Wagner's on here. She's our VP of marketing. Her and her team did a great job. And we've added Threads as another one of our social media outlets. If you go to PMINEO.org, at the very top of the web page, you'll see all the different social medias we're on. We're on X, YouTube, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I'm forgetting one, but we're on all those. So there's going to be a slide later where you can use your camera to join. But great job, marketing team. Excellent leadership and progress there. On the programs team, we've continued to offer multiple monthly in-person and webinar format events. We pride ourselves in typically having 2 or more events a month. In combination, we try to do the in-persons, especially when they're better weather months, and then webinars all throughout the year. We have an excellent professional development day coming up here in May. We had one last May. We're going to have one again this May, and an International Project Management Day this past November. And we'll talk a little bit later about what we may be doing this year for IPM Day. But the programs team's very busy. Amer, who's our VP of programs, does a great job leading his team. And we're going to probably talk about a little bit later. We have 6 new volunteer candidates that have applied to join the programs team. And since our programs team has 6 people and we're trying to add 6, it's going to take us a while to onboard everybody. So if you volunteered for the programs team, thank you. We'll hope to get back to you within the next few weeks. Any questions? All right. Thank you for your time.
I still get half an hour, right? Just kidding. Oh, it's funny. Ben and Joe, they had this nice, neat 3 little thing, and mine's just this mess here. So, I'm Dominic. I handle chapter outreach for the chapter, and it falls into a couple different buckets. And I'll just touch on them briefly. On the membership side, not to be confused with membership services. On the membership side, that is about things that keep members sort of engaged in recruiting new members. We talked earlier about the get to know the chapter events. Those happen every month. So if you know somebody who's just feeling around the edges or has been a part of the chapter for a day or 10 years, but not very involved, the get to know the chapter is an easy way to just understand kind of what we're all about. One of the things the membership team is working on, and one of the goals for this year, and if you're interested in this kind of stuff, let me know, are touch points. We don't currently do a very good job, a little disrupted by the pandemic, and we're going to work on touch points where you've joined, but you haven't been to a meeting, or you about to renew, but you haven't heard from anybody in a while. So what's the appropriate way and time for us as members of the chapters to reach out to you and make sure that you feel welcome, know, and have an easy way to participate in the chapter. So if any of that sort of interest to you, that team is sort of regrouping there. Social events are just networking events. In fact, I just saw somebody on LinkedIn who's interested in social events. We do social events. For those of you who signed up for Sarah's Vineyards, it was postponed because they had a heating problem. That is in the process of getting rescheduled, but we try to do one about every quarter, and there's nothing to learn except other people's names. And so we try to keep some geographic diversity where we're hosting these things. And feel free to come out and meet other members of the chapter. And get your name out there and learn what other people do. Those are happy hours, baseball game, golf outings, if you can call it a golf outing. That's just for fun. Academic outreach is another facet that is getting some work done. We try that the goal is to be at the area schools and have an opportunity to talk about students about careers and project managers. I don't know how many of you in college knew that project management was a career. was a calling. But what we want to do is let students know about project management and that it is a career. We have some contacts at we have contacts at some of the schools around us, but we are missing some contacts for schools. We have holes. So if you are a Kent State, Akron, Ursuline, Lakeland Community College, Lorraine Community College, or Lake Erie College grad, and you know some folks at those colleges, and you can just get us started. It may not be the right person, but it'll be a person that can get us to the right person. Um, Feel free to raise your hand, and we'd love to fill in those holes and do more of those student presentations. The community outreach. In fact, Baruz has an event coming up that's also on LinkedIn and a couple other places with shoes for kids. And the idea is that look, we are a lot of people, and we're good at what we do, and we have opportunities that we can give back. So we do take opportunities to do some social good, and we're looking for those right initiatives. This will be the second time that Bruce has put something together for us, and it's rewarding, and it's something that we can do. And so often we talk about just the little things that we can do to make a change. We're going to talk a little later about the Kersner Awards. Those are a lot of fun. Another thing under community outreach that we're evaluating, we've tried, it hasn't taken off like we should, but we're still giving it a go. It may not be the right idea, or it may not just have had its chance yet. We're interested in doing meetups where we participate in community events, different things. Maybe you're a runner, maybe you're a biker, maybe you're a jogger, maybe you're a Browns fan. I don't know any of those. And what we're trying to do is figure out opportunities where at large events, what other chapter members happen to be there, and pick a moment, maybe 15 minutes before the start of the race, or at the finish line and by the flagpole. And we'll just designate a time and a place at these large events where members of PMI just meet and have a micro networking event. And then we realize, oh, you're a runner, I'm a runner. I'm not a runner, by the way. So if you think of opportunities, maybe you participate in maybe the American Lung Association walkathon or something like that. If you bring those to our attention, we're happy to work with you and designate the time and the place, and promote these micro networking events where we can learn about each other and how we are out here in the community together. One of the more successful things that's in my square here is the executive outreach. We have a wonderful program going on where we have people that manage, hire, and supervise project managers that sort of meet separately and have their own little peer group. And what we get out of that group is what they're looking for when they're hiring, supervising, and managing project managers. And those ideas and items and things that they're talking about get turned into programming for our members. So our members have a chance to get those skills that people that hire, supervise, and manage program managers are looking for. Another program that we're working on is developing volunteers that have in large employee situations that can be champions for the chapter, where we can put stuff in all the usual places, but we're hoping to find people that can help us put project management chapter stuff on the company bulletin board, on the company's Yammer site or Jobber or internal communications, to talk to their project manager peer group and say, hey, if you don't know, the chapter is hosting this event for project managers. They're going to talk about project managing the air show. You might find that of interest, and get into deeper than we can with just the chapter talking about that. And another thing that we try to do is work with other professional organizations within our community that are related to project managers. And sometimes we share programs, or we'd like to, if they're doing a program that might be of interest to our members, and we're doing a program that might be of interest to those members, maybe they're business analysts or some kind of related, is to share those resources and reach out and make those connections. And oh, look at me, I'm a minute under. So hopefully I didn't bore everybody, but that's kind of what's happening on the outreach side. And I thank you for your time.
That was awesome. You have so much going on, Dominic. But I think everyone understands kind of the theme of behind our whole outreach initiatives is to make sure that, you know, we as a project management community are able to not just reach out within our community and within our similar sort of professional areas, but also make sure that it's actually valuable to the people that are in our circle of influence, including like executive decision makers or peripheral sort of communities that could benefit from similar practices, right? So if there are any questions, please post them in the chat and one of us will try to answer.
Okay, next we're going to talk about our 2024 financials and give you all an overview of where our money's going and how it's spent. So Laura, you have the stage.
Hi, everybody. So first, let me say this slide and this information does not happen without two very wonderful people, Ben Todd on our operations board and Alona Charisma, who is our VP of finance. So without them, I couldn't do my job. They do all the hard work and heavy lifting. So love you guys. Thank you so much. And you just heard Dominic, Joe, and Ben talk about all the things that the chapter does. So we do need funding to make that happen. So just this past year, we had income of 38,000. Most of that does come from your membership dues. So if you're wondering why you're paying the membership dues, that is why it is going directly to your chapter and is being directly spent on your benefit. So, in addition to membership dues, we get income, just ancillary we get from for our paid events. So it's, for example, PDD, you pay a fee to cover the cost and help us break even on that. And then we do have, as mentioned earlier, Dominic mentioned our sponsors. So those are the biggest pieces where the money is coming in from. And then outgoing. So the biggest chunk of what we do gets spent on speakers and our programs and our awards, and that is by design. We want to make sure that most of the money coming gets spent directly on your benefit. And then a big chunk, a very important chunk to keep in connecting with all of you is our web hosting and our web support. We actually have one dedicated person that runs our website, so that that's the one thing that's not a volunteer. That's the one paid position in the chapters, that we have someone who runs our website to keep the lights on and keep it going so we can stay in connection with you. We know that connection is really important. So that's money coming in and money coming out. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Or it's frozen.
I think
I
Joe,
was
are
going
you
to
still
say,
there?
are we stuck?
Yeah,
Okay.
because Joe's
All
camera's
right.
off. So
Okay. All right. We're good. All right. So upcoming exciting stuff coming for 2025. So as we said, we usually host a professional development day, and we also host International Project Management Day. Those are our two signature events that we hold on an annual basis. In addition to that, we have chapter meetings. We have something generally going on every month of the year. So and what happens in that, we have snacks, we sometimes play speakers, etc. We also have our social events, which, we love seeing you guys out at those. And then special this year it is the chapter's 35th anniversary. So happy anniversary to PMINEO. And we are going to have an event later this fall. There's another slide about that, so I'm not going to steal the thunder for that, but I'm very excited that we're bringing that to you. The only thing I want to do is just close on and put a little plug in. So this is my second term as treasurer. It will end at the end of this year. That means my spot will be open on the governance board along with two other spots. So call for nominations will come out later this year, and our elections will happen in the fall. So if you are interested in being part of our governance board, by all means, please fill out an application and apply, and be join us in being in the running. So I just want to let everybody know that that's happening later this year. All right, that's me. I'm done. Moving on.
All right, our next question at menti.com is, what AI project management tools do you use in your projects? Zoom AI, Chat GPT, of course. Smart sheets.
Okay, I want to hear more about the AI and Smartsheet.
Yeah, that's a new one.
I saw something flash up. I just didn't go investigate, so I'm a little curious.
Jira.
People
Confluence.
still use Jira.
Yeah, I use it every day.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was an AI piece to it though, or anything, but I work for the federal government, so we're not allowed to really use AI tools unless it's internal. Nice.
Little
Yeah, PMI.
unscripted here, but if anyone uses Asana, I would like to talk to them offline. I'd like to hear about the experience of people using Asana as a project management tool.
Peruse, you and I need to have a long conversation.
All right, buddy, we could do that.
It's the magic of networking here at PMI.
Yeah. Okay. Next, we will talk about the 2025 strategy and vision.
Yep. Thanks, Steve. So this is the part where, we kind of look forward now. Up until now, we've kind of talked about, what we did in 2024 and how our members are deriving value from the various types of programs and opportunities that the chapter brings, and just opening up to this community. But we also ultimately have our connection and our relationship to the larger PMI organization, and some or a lot of what we do needs to be and has been aligned with what PMI considers its global strategy and setting the direction for how the project management profession evolves globally over time and across the breadth of industries, and incorporating, perspectives from various diverse communities. If anyone has ever attended one of the PMI Global Summits, you'll know just the reach that this community has across geographical locations and domains and everything. It is pretty massive, and it is actually sort of a humbling experience. So if anyone ever gets a chance to go attend the Global Summit, please do. We've attended the last couple of years. We've tried to attend as part of the Leadership Institute, which is more for the PMI chapter leadership. But there is some overlap with the Global Summit during those LIM days, and we've been enriched as a result, right? So back to sort of the PMI sort of global strategy. In 2024, PMI introduced the PMI Next kind of strategy, which was the sort of the leadership changes, and Pierre Leman, the CEO of PMI, president sort of came in and set this direction, which is, being a lot more sort of community focused, understanding and grounding ourselves in our values, increasing the impact. And as a result of all of those sort of, focus areas, they introduced several things and made certain acquisitions and partnerships, which all was part of this PMI Next strategy. And now it seems like, and if any of you have been following the communication, the next evolution of this PMI Next strategy is to sort of implement and take it forward, right? So the things that are sort of critical or crux of this project management profession is what does project management look like over the next few years, and what are the key focus areas? What are the things that skill sets or experiences or areas of success that PMI considers to be sort of the archetype of a successful project manager, right? And so, some of the things are sort of focusing inwards, look at your outcomes, continue to, follow CI, like continuous improvement principles, all kinds of sort of reflective and focused focus areas is what PMI is sort of advocating for in implementing its own kind of strategy. And if anyone is kind of interested in finding out more about what PMI strategy is, I think we can post a link to that announcement and the documentation around it. But keeping this is sort of our backdrop to how we implement our own chapters, initiatives, and programs, and all of those things that our chapter does to work for its members. So we go to the next slide. So the important thing is, again, we can't directly implement exactly the things that PMI is implementing as part of its strategy, but we can connect what we are doing to how global PMI is evolving its own strategy. I think this is just a reminder of what we as a chapter have in our mission, vision, and our values and our objectives, right? So we want to make sure that we are flexible and agile and continue to do all of those things, all of those focus areas that PMI defines as a successful project manager. We want those qualities we want our chapter to also embody those same qualities and define success through those same metrics. So we have we have to make sure we govern ourselves with agility. We have to make sure that we offer the right types of content for professional development. We have to make sure that we find our community coming together to make sure that we are offering optimum value for our members. We want to make sure that at the end of the day, we also have to provide avenues and channels for actually providing content that is valuable for certifications, which is ultimately the bread and butter of the PMI brand. And then make sure that and as you saw before with all of our outreach and our membership initiatives, you can see that most of everything that we're doing is actually focused on sort of bringing the value of the project management profession into the hands of the decision makers, and making sure that the whole like PM community doesn't get a bad rap. I know that in a lot of companies, right, project manager is kind of considered this extraneous, almost administrative person, and our role as a chapter, as a community of project managers, is to make sure that that value is understood beyond sort of the mundane aspects of what a PM actually does. If you go to the next slide. So this is just, I think this is the same that is in our PMINEO website. So we want to make sure that we stay true to our brand. We make sure that we're building project management as a profession across the community, across industries, as well as provide a nurturing, safe environment for PMs to come together and even if you don't have the title of a project manager, right? Like all of us are constantly executing these functions in our day-to-day jobs, whether you're an actual like IT programmer or you are, a mechanical engineer. Ultimately, how you execute and deliver your tasks is the discipline of project management. So in that sense, we are not only helping our own community, we are helping the larger sort of workforce adapt some of those positive behaviors. Next. And so going from the PMI Next and More strategy to kind of staying true to our mission, vision, and values, our leadership and our chapter adopted sort of this, broad, deep, and lengthy sort of strategy, right? So what we want to do, we're going to continue this strategy, and we as a volunteer organization consciously made the decision that we would continue this strategy because we had so much conviction in what we had decided starting in 2024 that it doesn't make sense to continue to add additional things on top of these sort of core values that form the foundation of our strategy. So as you'll see, we still have our sort of key focus areas, which are our three focus areas. And if you go to the next slide, Joe, we've picked these three focus areas, and all of our initiatives and all of our programming and all of our offerings are aligned to one of these three key focus areas, right? And so that means that we have to make sure that the value of the PMI brand and the PMI Northeast Ohio brand, they are sort of interlinked, and that it is widely understood to make sure that your membership is actually working for you. Your membership fees are actually working for you. That means we're talking about, high quality programming, building a large community of practice, a community of excellence, which the PMI calls the COE, which leads to, increase in membership. That's one of my goals, right? As the chapter president, recovering from sort of the pandemic, we want to get our membership back up. And how do we do that? We do that by bringing more value to our members, right? And part of our community is to actually grow our workforce of project management professionals. And that means, like, I think it was Dominic who was saying, like, I don't remember who, but we didn't know project management was a career option when we were young and we were in college, right? And so how do we make sure that today's young professionals or people who are even new to the project management profession actually understand, right, that this is a long-term growth opportunity, and that there are many skills you can grow and develop by just being part of this profession and by just being part of this community. So those are kind of our three focus areas, and each of us on the leadership team, on the governance board, have chosen one or two initiatives to sort of sponsor and champion to align with one of these focus areas. That's how we address our progress. That's how we measure ourselves. That's how we talk about all of the things that we have been doing and will continue to do throughout 2025. Next slide. So how we bring this to life is, like we talked about, some of the things that we're already doing and some of the things that we are planning to bring to our community are all going to kind of be outlined, and you'll see where you can get involved, where you can attend these events, where you can help us plan some of these things. And maybe there are things we aren't even considering, right, that we didn't even think about. So if you have any ideas, feel free to reach out to me or to anyone on the board, and we can talk about how that brings value to our members. Next slide. So from our brand perspective, Todd's gonna talk about one of our few big events for this year, It is the 35th birthday of our chapter, so Todd, if you don't mind talking us through this, that would be awesome.
I'm here. I'm ready. Yeah. So, welcome everybody. Thanks for having me. I am a past president immediately prior to Ramya, but it is our chapter's 35th, and we need to celebrate. And we need to doubly celebrate because we didn't get to during the 30th anniversary due to COVID. So the last time we actually had a big chapter celebration was 10 years ago for our 25th. So it's time to come together. It's time to have a big fun night to celebrate the fact that we've been around for 35 years. So save the date, Thursday, September 25th, is when we're looking to do a casino night event where there's going to be food, there'll be a cash bar, there'll be casino games with professional dealers that will allow you to earn tickets to submit for raffle prizes. So we're looking to have a whole lot of fun that evening, just interacting together as a chapter. The location is going to be the Holiday Inn in Independence in their newly renovated event space. I have not been there personally, but a couple of our team members have been there and said it is beautiful. So we're super excited to get together to celebrate and to have you be a part of it. So look for more information coming soon in the Pulse newsletter on the website. And we'll probably be opening registration at some point in the next couple of months. So save the date for Thursday, September 25th for you and a guest, and look for the registration information coming soon. Thanks.
Yay, cannot wait. And this Todd is leading this planning committee, and they have been hard at work, and I am so excited. I cannot wait to see what the committee comes up with and how the event sort of lays out. I have already marked my calendar. I'm not going anywhere.
Todd's
Good.
wearing a tux. That's what
I
I
might.
heard.
I could.
That's what I heard, man. Only reason why I'm going.
Okay. Oh boy, the gauntlet's been thrown. Thanks, Dominic.
Standards have been set, Todd.
Yeah, I know. Yikes. I don't want to set expectations that you have to rent a tux for this. Literally, my wife asked me that in the car last night. She goes, "Is this going to be like a Bond theme and formal?" I'm like, I don't think we want to go formal. I think business casual will be perfect for
We
this.
all saw that episode of The Office, Todd.
Okay. Thank
Wait,
you.
did you just say it's a Bond theme?
Bond theme.
No, she wanted that, or she thought about that as a Bond
I
thing,
like
everybody
that.
dressing up and tuxing and all that. But
Who does she
that's
want
a
you to
little
be,
crazy.
Todd?
Laura
digress.
can be Miss Moneypenny.
We digress.
We do digress. And we only have 23 minutes to keep on schedule as
Yes.
project managers.
Yes.
So I'm going to turn it back over.
Thank you. All right, so I think Dominic.
Yep. So, in fact, I'd gotten some emails about the award. So I know the word's out there. The nominations are open. We are looking to recognize accomplishments. We're going to celebrate things that happened in 2024. It's just sort of like the Oscars. And so the nominations are open. They close sometime. Do I have it on here? Soon. So don't wait. And the process is easy and real quick. And this is how I like to remember the awards. 3 different awards. We have Project Manager of the Year, Project of the Year, and Emerging Professional. So it's just like a Christmas Carol. The Ghost of Christmas Past is a person who has mentored you, maybe introduced you to project management, has been a guiding light in some way, shape, or form in your project management career over time. Consider them for Project Manager of the Year so they can be recognized for their work in guiding you and perhaps others. The Ghost of Christmas Present is the Project of the Year. That is a project that concluded in 2024. It didn't have to go perfectly because no project does, but it had to use good project management methodology. It doesn't have to be, you didn't have to dig the channel. But if it was enterprise-ish level, a meatier, heftier project that used good project management tech, we don't all work for big, huge companies, but if it was a hefty project for your firm and it concluded in 2024, we want to hear about it and use good project management technique. The Ghost of Christmas Future is the emerging professional. So it's somebody who is newish to project management. Maybe they are new early in their career, or maybe they recently pivoted into project management. Who's ever had that happen to them? but they're showing signs of understanding and adopting good project management methodology. We want to recognize that as well. You do not need to be a member of the chapter or PMI to nominate or be nominated. If it's good programming, good project management, we want to hear about it. The application process is very easy, and I hope you'll take us up on it and submit your project or people that you might know. And you can self-nominate, because who would know your project better than you? The award ceremony, I'm sorry, the little typo on this. We're going to have a cocktail party, a cocktail reception in early April, separate from the PDD. It'll just be a cocktail. It's a social event, and our excuse to have the social event is to pass out the awards and honor the award recipients. So that'll be in April. It'll take place in Independence. It'll take place at the Sanctuary, which is now it's a Wyndham now, I think. Okay, thank you. Oh, yeah. Yes, nominations are open.
So Dominic, there's a comment that the URL may not be correct. So we will look into that.
Well, thank you very much.
Joe, do you want to talk about PDD and IPM Day?
So this year, we are going to have a professional development day. It's either going to be May 13th or 14th. We're locking down on the keynote speaker, hopefully that one of those mornings. We are going to have it at Magnet, which is a manufacturing professional organization. They are located on off of Euclid Avenue, 65th area. So we're going to have the event there. In the past, we've had the event at Baldwin Wallace, but we try to change it up this year, have a manufacturing theme, and and a women in manufacturing theme or co-theme. So we're excited about that. It's either the 13th or the 14th. Registration's not ready yet because we need to finalize all the speakers, panel discussion. There's going to be a tour of the magnet facility, presentations, and a panel discussion, and we'll be serving breakfast and lunch. So it'll be great. It's a partnership with Magnet, so we're going to bring our army of people, and they're going to bring their army of people. So it'll be a lot of good networking too across their two organizations. So look forward to that. The other thing, so we're going to be cute a little bit with the International Project Management Day. Since we partnered number 2 there, we partnered with IIL, International Institute for Learning. So they offer an all-day series of webinars. They will offer us a discount to register. And along with that, being able to participate in the day-long webinars, you can pick and choose which ones you want to go to. You're able to watch the recordings for up to 60 days or 90 days after the event. And then we're going to offer a discount as a chapter member. So that's a really good opportunity. So we're going to do that on Thursday, which is normally International Project Management Day. We're going to do an IPM Eve. We're not going to trademark that name, but the night before, we're going to have a speaker from Dallas, Texas. I don't want to spoil the surprise yet. He's going to be really engaging, and we're going to have that at Baldwin Wallace University. Mark on our team is following up on all of that. So we'll have an event on Wednesday, IPM Eve. Cute name. And then the official IPM Day will be hosted by IIL. So more to come on that. So yeah, we'll have 2 events essentially in November, one that we're hosting and one that IIL is hosting.
Awesome. And also, just so everyone knows, we hear this feedback all the time, right? Coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people want both in-person and online events, and this was one way that we thought would be a pretty cool way to do, sort of a different type of hybrid event, right? Usually, when you talk about how hybrid events, it's someone is in the room and then there's a bunch of people that are online and the communication sort of gets a little bit harder. But this is a way that we can actually honor IPM Day by doing both an in-person as well as an online that suits, anyone's convenience. So I'm super excited that we have, you know, we have so much creativity and leeway in how we plan these events now.
Thank you.
All right, real quick, our next Menti question is, how has returning to work in person impacted your day-to-day activities and work-life balance? We'll give it a minute to go through these. We'll have to go through them pretty quick here. Thankfully, still work from home. Yes. I'll tell you, if I had to go back into work downtown every day, I would lose a lot of time.
Hey guys, is that the question that came up? I'm just pointing that out. This question is asking about young professionals.
Yeah, I think maybe the questions were switched. That's okay. We'll just use this for that.
Oh, sorry. Oops. You can also respond in the chat as well if you want to answer that question as well, and we can follow up. So all right, I want to try to move on to our next to the rest of the presentation here. We've still got a few things to go through. So, okay, I'm going to talk about our military and veteran outreach program. This is a newer initiative that I launched a few years ago. And I just kind of want to give a quick overview of what it is. Now, PMI is very supportive of our active duty and veteran community in general. And as a chapter, we want to engage not only our active duty military community, but also our veterans who live within the Northeast Ohio area. And it really makes a lot of sense because, if you really think about it, formal project management techniques actually started with the military during World War II. And veterans make really good project managers. A lot of them don't know it, but they really do. If you think about those of you who've served, any mission requires, planning, right? It requires strategy, it requires risk management, resources, and everything to execute that mission. So here as part of this community, we are here to support veterans who are not only part of the chapter, but other veterans who are possibly transitioning from the military back to civilian life. We are here to help. I'm here to help them as well, to help you transition your skills into a project management career. And that's really one of our goals is. Another goal of this program is we want to build a community of veterans and military. We're a very underrepresented group in the corporate space. And I feel that they, like all of you who are in or have served, may have a lot of potential. So I want to go over a couple of things that we've done so far this year. We hosted an event back in November at Lincoln Electric with a group called cloudwarriors.ai. They train veterans for technical jobs and including project management. We had a great presentation from a former Coast Guard veteran. who kind of walked us through how he translated his military career into a project manager, a very successful project manager. And we are also working with a few other organizations in the area, volunteer organizations, to bring some more programming into the chapter, such as speakers and events to support our military community. And we're gonna have that ongoing. If any of you are interested in being part of this, or if we have veterans out there, or if you know veterans who are already project managers or interested in being project managers, please send them our way. And we would love to work with them. We would love to continue to grow this outreach program. And we're going to continue that work into 2025. Okay, so we can go on to the next slide. And Baruz.
I get off mute. All right. Good evening, everyone. Generally, when we talk about volunteering, we think about volunteering in our own space where we're comfortable. As PMs, we think about volunteering as a project manager. Steve talked about that earlier. I highly recommend volunteering in your own space to get more knowledge and more context. This particular volunteering opportunity is for the good of the community. This is where PMs get involved to help a local organization in Cleveland, Shoes and Clothes for Kids. The name is a little misleading. The event that we went to in November was essentially a free supermarket, if you will, for local teachers, where they came, they got shopping carts, and they went around various shelves and picked supplies for the children that they taught. These are brand new supplies, and they're provided by local businesses for Shoes and Clothes for Kids to distribute to these teachers. There are other events. I put the link to the website there. We have another volunteering opportunity coming up March 1st from 9 to 1. There is a link on the website for you to register. Once you do, I'll send you the information. There's a waiver that you'll need to sign. But essentially, you show up there and they put you to work. As project managers, we're used to putting other people to work. They have project managers. They want arms and legs and people who can talk to folks and who can keep their own end of the conversation going and keep the process flowing. So if you're interested in doing this, it's a worthwhile cause. You do get PMI PDUs for this. So click on the link on the site, submit your name, and then I'll be in touch with you with additional information. And there'll be more of these events throughout the year with Shoes and Clothes for Kids. Thank you.
So while we move on to that next question, there are a couple of questions about the awards in the chat. I was asking if the award, like the nominees, have to be certified, and Jody wants to know if they have to have passed the test in advance. So Dominic, I don't know if you have the answers or if you want to post them in the chat.
I can post.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's talk about mentoring. I think Andy has been championing this initiative for us, so we'll let him kind of walk us through what this is and what options.
Sorry, folks, I was reading the chat, not paying attention to the slides. Yes, I'm Andy Macy. I am one of the governance board members. I am the other director at large, along with Baruz. And one of the things that I've been tasked with for the chapter is starting up a mentoring program, which we have done a couple iterations of, and we're now looking to open that a bit wider to the rest of the chapter. We are finishing up our current cycle here at the end of March, and we'll be looking to possibly start a new chapter of mentoring come April. And we are looking for both mentees and mentors. To participate in the program as either a mentee or a mentor, you do need to be a member of the chapter. We will expect you to follow the PMI Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct. I do need to clarify, though, that our program is not intended to be a substitute for the education providers within PMI. We aren't looking to provide coaching on how to study for your various exams for a number of reasons, primarily amongst which is those exams are ever changing. And I'll be frank, the exam I took several years ago for my PMP is not what's out there today. So because of that, we try to focus more on mentoring people on how to progress in their project management career in their current role and how to move on and things of that nature. We're more than happy to help consult on things such as what you need to do to fill out your applications for PMI certifications, but we draw the line there and don't try not to be an education provider. Moving forward, there's no requirements for anyone to be a mentee. If you're interested in receiving mentorship, please go ahead and send an email in to mentoring@pmineo.org. If you are going to be a mentor, we would like you to have some prior history, either as a mentor or developing personnel or developing teams. We will then try to match up mentees with mentors with similar backgrounds. The mentoring program, though, is really going to be up to what the mentee and the mentor decide their program needs to be. So you can customize it to whatever you feel you want your mentorship program to be. You will work out the details of what that mentorship program will be with your mentor. We have you go through a little bit of we call it a mentorship contract that we want you to fill out and kind of outline what you plan to do with the program, with your mentorship. And then we kind of stand back and let you guys kind of work things out on your own. We're here as resources to kind of help the mentees and mentors throughout the process, but the typical mentorship program has been running about 1 quarter or 3 months. And then at that point, as a chapter, we kind of step out. But if the mentor and mentee wish to continue a relationship as mentor and mentee, they are more than welcome to do so. I don't know about some of you out there. I have mentors that I've been in contact with throughout my career for many, many moons. So mentorship is what you make of it. So with that, if there are questions, please send an email to mentoring@pmineo.org. Both people interested in being a mentor and being a mentee, and we will be in touch with you and kind of help you along with the process.
And this is a fantastic way, right, for us. We make the connection, right? And that's what we want to sort of help facilitate. What the mentee and mentor do with it once the connection has been made is entirely up to them. And we've had a few very, very successful mentor-mentee relationships, and we just want to grow. And we think that this is another great way to promote those individual connections. And you'll see other areas that we are trying to make it as personal and as social of a connection as possible. So thanks, Andy, for taking us through that and for really putting this program in place. I know it's a cause that's very close to your heart. So thanks for doing it.
Glad to do it.
And then, some of the things that we've been talking about, this is something like we talked about for young professionals and how we engage them. One of the areas or one of the events that we are planning for this year and or maybe it could be even next year, but at least some type of recurring event where we have like a reverse expert panel for young professionals where, instead of and this is something that we hear from young professionals all the time, right? Like we keep hearing from the experts, but sometimes this sort of reverse mentoring is something that is welcomed by that group, right? And so we want to try and put together a panel of young professionals who share their experiences. We then understand sort of what those generational differences are. And so we want to have these reverse expert panel discussions, which is something that we haven't done before as a chapter, and we want to sort of explore bringing those types of new types of events to our audience and our membership. Next slide. And then, some of the other initiatives that I really wanted to highlight was we've introduced the inaugural Anastasia Award. We've because our chapter is so reliant on our volunteers, and our amazing volunteers have really gone above and beyond and made such amazing contributions to our chapter. We've introduced a new award for excellent contributions in the volunteering space, outstanding contributions to the chapter. And, if anyone knows, Joe has been a valuable chapter volunteer almost since the chapter was, since the chapter's inception. So in 2025, at our CAVS event, we were able to honor Joe with this award. And moving forward, this will be named the Anastasi Volunteer of the Year Award, which we will try to introduce for the previous year in the month of January every year going forward. Thank you, Joe, for everything you do for our chapter. Cannot think of a more deserving person or a more deserving person to have their name on this award. And Dominic talked about the get to know the chapter meetings, and these are monthly meetings to help, new non-members, existing members to just learn about the chapter and what the member benefits are, upcoming events. This is typically held in the first week of the month. Dominic and his team sort of facilitate these sessions, and it has helped us kind of understand the expectations from new members as well as communicate to them what they can expect in terms of programming and events from the chapter. In addition to that, we've also introduced sort of peer mentoring circles, which is basically office hours where some of us get together on the third week of the month. So it is the off week from when the get to know the chapter is held, and it's just meant for everyone to come share their experiences and gain insights from other PMs who may have been in similar situations, maybe from different industries. And we've held one, and the second one was supposed to be today, but we are holding this state of the chapter event today, and so in lieu of the office hours. But we will resume again in March, where March 18th is going to be the next event. Hopefully everyone joins and is able to, share their experiences and their knowledge with others in the community. And these both get to know the chapter and the office hours are up on our events calendar. You can register for them, and they're both virtual, so you can attend from the comfort of your home or wherever you are.
Yeah. All right. We should probably just continue. Ice cream. Okay. You're making me hungry. Okay, next. Let's move on. What's your favorite ice cream store in Northeast Ohio? Don't say Dairy Queen.
Mally's has ice cream? I didn't know that.
Okay, we can move on. How can we improve the annual meeting in the future? Oh, we can skip that. Oh, cash bar. Okay. Virtual cash bar.
Nothing stopping you. You can bring your own.
Yeah. BYOB.
Yeah.
In person. BYOIC.
Bring your own ice cream.
Ah, okay, that's what it is. Okay. All right. Keep doing what we're doing. Well, if you have any suggestions, please feel free to email us or send a message. Ugly sweater. Okay. All right, we should probably move on. We're a little bit crunched for time here, so we're gonna our upcoming events. Here's a list of them. Our next one is measuring project management maturity for performance excellence. And then we have on 3/1 volunteering with shoes and clothes for kids. Get to know the chapter. We have a number of them scheduled for March and then April. You can always check on our website, PMINEO.org, and go to our calendar, and you can see all the events. Okay. Next. Okay. And
Not
last
sure what happened to my Mentimeter, but if you want to post the answers to this in the chat. I had created a slide last night, don't know where it is.
Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Next.
Oh, did anybody post the answers to this? Am I on mute?
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're not, Joe. And just guys, the reason we want this is because we often get people who want to speak to the community. And so having topics that are interest to our members gives us an idea of what speakers to bring forward. So think through this and respond with topics that interest you.
All right, these are our social media outlets. This slide deck, we're going to make some tweaks to it tonight. I'll be emailing out the slide deck and the or a link to the recording of the video to all by this weekend, along with the PDUs you're going to see in a second. But this is a quick way to get on our social media. And if you're not comfortable with QR codes, go to our website and they're up at the top banner. You can get to our social media. These are our top volunteer opportunities: membership team members, industry liaisons, administrative and operational type roles. We always need people there. thanks again for those of you that have volunteered for the programs team. We'll be getting back to you soon, try to get all of you onboarded. But if there's another area that you're interested in, just go ahead and contact our volunteering group and they'll get you plugged in. All right, we already asked that question. PDUs. So again, I will email the slide and these PDUs to everybody that joined us tonight. But that's a PDU claim code. So if you are certified CAPM, PMP, or any of the other certifications, you get one business acumen PDU for tonight using that code, and that's a C048. I'll leave that on the screen for a second. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Steve.
Thanks everyone for your attendance, and we look forward to seeing you at our upcoming events.